Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Cool. Hey, from the audience, I got my questions, but theirs are always more fun. Allie in Texarkana, she remembers you from Austin days. She says, I love when Luke is on the show. Do you have a fun Austin, Texas story from your time with the Texas Stars? Something real quick.
Well, I'm still the all-time penalty minute and fight leader with the Texas Stars. So I started my career there. 4 years, 19 to 22 age. Some of my fondest memories were made in Cedar Park, Texas.
It is a grand town. From BW in Edmonton says, pardon me, Luke, who was the toughest hockey fighter you faced and hardest body checker?
Oh, good questions. The fighter part, I've never felt, still to the day, anyone as strong as Brian McGrattan. And I fought him my first battle of Alberta in Calgary, center ice at the Saddle Dome. And when he grabbed onto my collar, I had never felt something like that in my life. He had this ability to move me around anywhere he wanted to go. And I remember just having an internal dialogue, just kind of hang in here, breathe, stay in there. But there was nobody like Big Earn, I'll tell you that much. Hitter.
Those are the best. Yeah.
But Dustin Byfuglien, anyone that has seen the YouTube clip of me get hit by Dustin Byfuglien, and I did a full 180, there was nobody like him in hockey, especially when he got moving. And when I tried to hit him multiple times, it was just like bouncing off a brick wall.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
What was it like coaching the Panthers in the 90s at the old Miami Arena? And he said it was in a bad end of town, and the police told him, when you come to a red light around the arena, don't stop. Keep rolling through because they'll come and steal your car. And he was driving an 86 Toyota Corolla. So he said he came up to a red light, and he didn't stop. He rolled through the red intersection, and some local yelled at him, don't worry, we wouldn't steal that piece of garbage.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, that's a Doug McLean story. The Doug McLean. Welcome to the RP Show. I moved my mic over, so pardon me. Still in South Florida, a little chilly today. Send prayers. Had to put socks on and sweats. Ready to talk sports for the next 2 hours. Let's bring in the Moose now, Darren Moose DuPont. I'm here. He is back in what we jokingly call the prison cell. It's not actually a cell, I don't think, Darren, but it's a corner of the house. Is that like the quietest area? What are we calling the studio that you're in here for just today?
Yeah, I'm okay with the prison cell because you're right. It is the quietest part in the house. Otherwise, you would have kids banging down the other door. You would have the camera getting knocked down. It would be chaos. So this is the one quiet spot in the whole place that we found.
Completely derailed already. It took 1 minute. I was reading a story, speaking of prison cells, about the guy Rooster from the show The Ranch. What's the guy's name? You know, you're more of a Hollywood starlet than I am. What's the guy's name that played Rooster in The Ranch, and he's from that 70s show? Danny somebody?
Yeah,
you know the guy.
I can't. It's not going to come to me, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Everybody knows the guy. Yeah, he's serving 30 years for double rapes in L.A., and they said they sent him to the same prison that Charles Manson served out his life sentences and died in. Rooster, whatever his name is, Danny Pawtucket or something like that. And my point is, we all joke. They said this prison, tiny little cell, tiny cramped cells where there's regularly complaints about the living conditions there. And I'm like, people make a joke about going to jail. You don't want to do that. So maybe we shouldn't joke about where Moose is right now. He's in a family home getting ready to fly back to Toronto. And the guests today are Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM, NHL Radio, and that works out great because I was just listening to him today. And Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos, longtime Toronto sports radio legend. Those are the guests. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director? and we'll do what we normally do. I want to say this. We open with the big story. What's the biggest story in our purview right now? And for different reasons, Darren and mine are different. I'll be honest right now. The countdown is just on. The countdown. It's the countdown to go to Las Vegas for Super Bowl. I can't wait. We're going to talk about that a lot today. That's going to be the theme of the week. We're going to be broadcasting live from Radio Row at Mandalay Bay in advance of the Chiefs and the Niners and the NFL Championship. The countdown is just on, okay? Because this is the kind of thing that I want to do with my life. And around here in South Florida, when people find out, oh, you're going to Super Bowl, I'm like, I'm not just going to Super Bowl. I'm going to work Super Bowl. And they're like, oh, you're going to work. Like, that's a big deal. You know, so it's one thing to be doing our show there, which we did 2 years ago in L.A. at the Super Bowl, but hosting an event with Lee Steinberg and Earl Campbell and Ryan Leaf and working Sober Bowl, it's just, can we just get there? I've got friends now that are threatening to join me. They're looking up flights out of Canada. It's remarkably cheap. But anyways, that's my purview. So forget about recapping the weekend. For me, I'll just simply say the Pro Bowl games concluded Sunday in Orlando with NFC and AFC stars competing in a flag football game that gave fans and a national television audience a glimpse of what the soon-to-be Olympic sport could look like with highly skilled athletes like NFLers. That was in my purview, NFL football. Yours is different, Moose, and we'll just roll into point two. Curling's a big deal, and you were all over it. So talk about yours.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And, you know, at the Saskatchewan Playdowns, the winner goes to the Briar in Regina next month. And Mike McEwen ended up winning. Got past Rylan Kleider in the final. Mike McEwen with Colton Flash and the two Marsh twins, Dan and Kevin Marsh. They'll represent Saskatchewan at the Briar. So that's where I was all weekend. My weekend was curling, trying to follow what was going on with the All-Star weekend and the Pro Bowl, but not a lot of time outside of the ice.
Yeah, we've partnered with Curling Canada, so I'm more than happy to read this. And it has a Manitoba tie-in, but Saskatchewan as well. Mike McEwen is a veteran of Canadian Men's Curling Championships, the Briar. But he'll skip Saskatchewan for the first time at this year's championship. As McEwen rank claimed Saskatchewan's provincial title Sunday, as Darren just said. He called it with a 7-3 win over Ryan Kleider. Am I saying that right? Kleider?
Yeah.
Yeah. McEwen skipped Manitoba at the Briar 7 straight years and also skipped Ontario there. So he's known across the country. His foursomes get to represent the host province March 1st to the 10th in Regina. And I'll say this, there's no secrets here. I'm going through U.S. immigration. I don't want to jinx this today, but it's not that I'm never going to be back in Canada, but I want to be able to work in the States because I'm getting all these opportunities in the States, but I can't do it until I have the proper paperwork. So I'm going through that. What is my point on this? Oh, if I receive a letter within the next month, a waiver that allows me to travel, I'll be at the Briar in Regina. It looks like it's going to happen, and I would like to be there. But for sure, Darren's going to be there on the RP show. It's just everybody's excited about the Briar, the Canadian National Men's Curling Championship. Now, I'm going to move on because we got a lot to cover here in the warm-up with the Quick Six show topics, and then we'll bring in the audience and everything. By the way, I appreciate Brian in Hudson's Bay, the Moose Capital, writes in and says, Danny Masterton. That 70s show as well. That's the guy that's in the cramped cell where Charles Manson was. And he's where he belongs. And by the way, an interesting comment from Trevor in Red Deer, who's watching on Game Plus television right now. He says, good morning, Rod and Moose. Guilty or innocent? Do any of the 5 charged with sexual assault play pro hockey of any kind again? Have a great day, and happy 90th, Don Cherry. Yes, the Coach's Corner icon, former NHL Coach of the Year, Donald S. Cherry, turning 90 today. You know, it used to be in this world of the world, I would answer that question by saying, well, if he was a Maytag repairman and he was found not guilty, would he be allowed to go back? You would say yes. They're employees. If they're found not guilty, can they go back? I'm not sure we're there anymore. This is not just about that, right? The court of public opinion is a hell of a lot bigger and more influential now than it's ever been, Darren. So now I would say yes. If they're found innocent, then yeah, they should go back playing hockey again. And I guess Gary Bettman was asked at All-Star Weekend that exact question, and the commissioner said they got bigger things to worry about, if I may paraphrase with what Gary Bettman said, right? Let's cross that bridge when we get there. I would say yes, but how would you answer that?
Yeah, I would say yes. If they're found not guilty, they'll play hockey again. They're all talented hockey players, very good, and they have value, and they'll come back and play. They'll have a little bit of repair to do on the reputation, but if they're found not guilty, it won't be so bad. The thing that some people are talking about online is, as some of the details of the process are coming out, the next hearing, I think, isn't until April 30th. So people are asking, well, can they go play hockey in the meantime? April 30th is a long ways away. And to that, I say no, they won't. And simply, the argument comes up, well, they're innocent until proven guilty. They are, but this isn't, as you say, a Maytag repairman going to work. This is in the public limelight on our TVs. There is brand and image and all the rest. You really can't play in a professional sport, in a league with this much notoriety and publicity when there's an ongoing investigation going on. So no, their seasons are over. But if they're found not guilty, next season they could be back playing.
Monty, Monty in Saskatoon. Did you see him this weekend in Saskatoon, by the way?
I didn't. I don't think he came to the Nutana.
Okay, well, he's busy working at Montana's. And he writes in and he says, when you do the crime, you can do the time. That's from Monty. It's on your screen. And what we're saying, Monty, is you can do the time without even having done the crime. That's where we're at in society now. People are writing in, some saying, I thought you were going to Super Bowl this week. I am. Chill out. Wednesday. Relax. My God. Okay. Moving on. 902-518-3033. Sober Carpenter text line is open. And obviously on the streams as well. You can write in if you're watching on YouTube. Number 4, Austin Matthews and his NHL All-Star team beat the team captained by Connor McDavid on Saturday at the NHL All-Star festivities. The Leaf star led Team Matthews with 2 goals, including the winner and an assist to secure a 7-4 victory over Team McDavid in the final of the league's 3-on-3 All-Star mini-tournament. The winners share a $1 million U.S. prize. Matthews was also named MVP of the whole thing on Saturday. What would have been a good poll question, or another good poll question, because I think we have a good one coming up. Did you enjoy NHL All-Star festivities? Here's mine. I enjoyed it for as much as I watched. I thought it got a little tedious, but that's a me problem. That's not an NHL problem. They ran it fairly seriously. They had a lot of All-Stars to run through the drills on Friday night, and then they had a 3-on-3 tournament on Saturday. I feel like it would have been a long time sitting in the crowd. The 18,000 that were there, Darren, didn't seem to have a problem with that. They were all having a great time, and it was way better than what it was here in Sunrise last year, where I feel like nobody wanted to say it because I guess they don't want to piss off the muckety-mucks. I don't mind. Last year was a joke. It was really bad. And I don't mind saying it because I bought tickets to go and felt jobbed by what they did. This year, it was far more serious, far more traditional All-Star events, and it was like just sampling a little bit of the buffet. I had a little bit, watched enough of what I needed, and I was good. I saw Kucherov completely, with the pooch Friday night, got booed by the Leaf fans. Kucherov just quit. He's getting soundly trounced by fans for not even trying in the skills. Sergei Kucherov of the Lightning, I think he got confused in what he was supposed to do. So he just freelanced and quit. That's what I think. But anyways, a good poll question would be, did you enjoy NHL All-Star festivities? It would be a yes from me. You were working, but how much of it did you see?
I saw quite a bit on my social media timelines and things like that. It looked like it came off really well. Like it was a ton of fun, the way they had the celebrity coaches. And, I liked, it felt different where they had a player win the All-Star skills competition as opposed to Team East or Team West or Team North American, Team World, or you know what I mean? McDavid won the skills competition. I thought that was cool because you get players to go into multiple events and rack up points. and you have a nice prize to it. So I thought, you know what, that was really neat. The Kucherov stuff, we don't even need to go into it because, that wasn't a good look. But outside of that, I thought it all went over really well. And, for everybody at the beginning that thought the jerseys were going to be crappy and thought it was going to be not good, I thought it all, at least from the outside, looked really, really well done.
I think it was everything that you just said. The highlight for me was Justin Bieber's jacket. And you didn't know the old me. I've said that many times. I'd have worn that jacket. I would have absolutely worn that jacket, just like Justin Bieber did. The big, what do you call it, 3/4 length, red and white fur, basically. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really been following. I mean, I used to be a believer. I put it in my weekend column. I saw him perform. I think he was 12 at the Brand Center in Regina, and I saw him play the saxophone, the piano, the drums, and the guitar, not at one time. That would have been a hell of a trick. But I saw at separate times in the concert, I saw him play all four, and then I saw him fall off the stage because he lost his footing, but he popped right up, never missed a bar. And so anyways, I'm a Bieber fan, but I kind of lost track of what's happened with his health issues. That was sad to see. So it was really nice that he showed up and participated to the degree that he did. He didn't have to do that. It's just like Justin Bieber singing the halftime show at the 2012 Grey Cup and got booed. I don't know what that says. I have a sense of what that says, but I don't want to say it because I don't want people to turn on me for saying it. And not only did he sing the halftime show for free of the Canadian Football League Championship, or he sang it, but he sang it for free. And he still got booed. I like the kid. So it was nice to see him show up for it. David in Winnipeg says, props to Will Arndt. It's Will Arnett, but picking Hellebuck 4th overall in the draft, I enjoyed that part. Alan in Saskatoon says, love the Bieber fur coat. Not sure what animal it came from. Love the Biebs. Allie says, I watched it Friday night at my favorite Mexican restaurant, so I was happy. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. That's Spanish for cockroach, just so you know. Wayne in BC says, I'm not that into crowds, LOL. I think you were gone by the time Johnny Avello was with us on Friday, the veteran Vegas oddsmaker, who said a lot of crowds and a lot of waiting. That's what you can expect at Super Bowl, Rod, when you get here. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind. I have the patience of Job, literally just happy to be there. And when we come back, we'll get into some Super Bowl talk. We haven't even got to the poll question yet, which pertains to hockey and all kinds of things. Scott Laughlin is on the way from SiriusXM NHL Radio. Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos, in Hour 2. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Rod and Moose back with you on a Monday. Thanks for having us part of your day. Missed you. Hope you missed us. It's episode number 1173. And by the way, I've been reading this for, about a month now. Canada's top men's curling teams are in the thick of their season, the playdowns, and all their eyes are focused on a trip to Regina in late February for the 2024 Montana's Brier presented by AGI. It's actually March 1st to the 10th. I guess they'll be traveling in late February. But we found out that Mike McEwen will be representing Saskatchewan, but the Manitoba and Alberta playdowns are beginning this week. And Darren's been broadcasting them, so we're following it very closely. You can be there. Tickets are on sale now, and actually they're going fast, $24 to $70, depending on the draw and seat selection. Curling.ca/tickets. Head on up. The Montana's Brier presented by AGI. Let's bring the Moose back in, trying to keep my mind on point. There's a lot of fun questions coming in here, though, Darren. Where did we leave off? We're in the middle of the NHL. We've still got Super Bowl to go, but a lot of people want to talk about the Super Bowl, as do I, and I'm a little overwhelmed going in. Nothing I can't handle. My friend Chris Sanford, you met him, Chris from the Bronx. We're going for lunch today after the show. He texted me and said, get a room at the Delano. I don't even know what that is. Is that the D? Because I know what the D is. But it's a dump on Fremont Street. What's the Delano, Chris? So I guess people want to know, and this is what makes our show different. Keeping in mind, 2 years ago, Moose was with me. We went to the Super Bowl in L.A., and we did it. It was awesome, right? It was awesome, Darren. I know you agree, right?
It was the best. It was the best, and I'm thinking about you going to Vegas, and I'm a little jealous. And I know if it was that big of a deal, I could have found a way to get there, and we would have had a great time. And we'll do it again. We'll get to another Super Bowl. I just know we will. But I'm wondering, what's on your bucket list? Like, what's on your checklist here? I know Vegas, big on the restaurants, so where are you going to hit?
Oh, listen, you know me better than anybody. I'm happy with a Popeyes Louisiana chicken. I'll be fine. That's not on my thing. So Jim Barker called me on Friday afternoon after the show, our five-time Grey Cup champion, our football analyst. You know, he's from Pasadena, had a house in Las Vegas for years. I think he might still. So he goes, are you taking your gal with you? And I said, no, just me. He goes, well, okay, well, that changes things. I knew some romantic spots, but no, this is where, okay, so his daughter is a pit boss at the Bellagio. She's going to be working all week, and she's expecting me. Not only did he call me Friday, he texted me today. Holly's her name, and he says, she's waiting for you. Let me walk it back. I changed my flight, so I leave out of here, Miami, 7 a.m. Wednesday, get to Vegas, 9:30 a.m. I'll be on foot. I see no need at this point to get a vehicle because I can walk everywhere. Not joking. I will do it, and you know that. So I'm going to go hit up Mandalay Bay, get my media pass, and then go check out Radio Row, which I'm actually glad that you brought that up. My bucket list doesn't have to do with food. I will eat for the rest of my life. I'm pretty confident about that. This is what I do know that I can't miss are the news conferences that are being put on by Vegas celebrities and personalities. Some of them are today. I'm not going to get there, obviously. John Taffer, Bar Rescue, holding a news conference today. Yeah. Terry Fader, America's Got Talent, having a news conference today. Carrot Top's doing one tomorrow. Wayne Newton, I believe, is going to have his on Thursday at 2 p.m. And I think I'm going to go to that one, Wayne Newton, because I watched Vegas Vacation. And I'm going to say, what were you doing with Helen Griswold? You knew she was married to Clark. You don't mow another man's lawn. I'd like to have that conversation with Wayne Newton on Thursday, live. You know, so these are some of the things. So it's not about going to restaurants. I can do that anywhere. You should see your face right now. What?
I hope you do. I hope you just keep the phone recording or somebody records it, because out of the scrum, if you ask it just like that, that might go viral across ESPN and everywhere else. That would be the best moment of Super Bowl.
Grab him by the throat and pull him over the... What were you thinking? So that's just one thing. Let's be honest about this. This is not... I'm glad you and I did it the way we did 2 years ago, because it was just like sticking your toe in the water. Like Darren dropped me off at the Mike Ditka, Ron Jaworski party, Super Bowl party, $500 a ticket, all the booze you could drink and all the cigars you could smoke. Well, kind of a waste on me. I was ready to go home at 9. I called Darren. You were in San Diego. You were nowhere around to get me. So I'm like, I won't do that again. I don't need to do that. So that Wednesday, I'm going to check everything out, set all my gear up, do some tests of this equipment because I'm not 100% confident we'll be able to broadcast from there technically, unless I pay a lot of money for that to happen, which maybe I'll do. But then I'm going to hoofer up there to see Jim Barker's daughter, and she's got a list of things for me to do. One of them is go visit the place where the owner of the Raiders hangs out, Mark Davis. Sorry, Mike Davis is a football friend of mine that lives in Vegas, so that's how I got confused of the two. You know that. And apparently there's a football game too. I mean, tonight is opening night, Super Bowl. I don't know if you followed, because I'm getting inundated with emails from the National Football League about things to do, places you're expected to be. There are 6,000 accredited media, and a lot of them will be tonight at Allegiant Stadium for the opening. And this is where the crazy... It's in my... Actually, I have it here. I was going to read it a little later on. That's a lot of the stuff that goes on. It's at rodpeterson.com in our sports update today. I apologize. I'm jumping all over the place, but that's kind of giving you an idea of where my mind is. It'll be hard to keep my mind on this show the next couple of days because I'm excited to go to Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Anyways, any more thoughts before we move on?
Well, we thought LA was good, and LA was great. And the celebrities and the stars that were around Super Bowl and all the rest. I think Vegas is going to be on a whole nother level. I really do. Like, you talk about food. I mean, that's one of the things I enjoy about going to different places. Whether you go to one of Ramsey's 3 or 4 restaurants he's got there, I'd imagine he'd probably be in Vegas for the Super Bowl week, maybe even cooking at one of his restaurants or at least making an appearance. It's going to be wild. Walking up and down the Strip, and you're 100% right. You don't need a car. The Strip isn't that big when you start thinking about, you're stopping here, stopping there, and you'll be good.
I apologize. I am paying attention to what you're saying. I'm just checking in on what the crowd, the audience is saying. Jeff in Yorkton says, I didn't get to watch the entire skills competition, but I like the new format. Does anyone recall how they picked the 12 players? That was done, I think it was The Athletic that wrote that it was a shady way of picking. Whoever, let's just say the NHL head office picked the 12. That's it. I don't think it's been divulged who picked the 12 All-Stars for that. Mark in Melfort says, did you go to the Beekeeper this weekend, Rod? What did you think? I didn't go to the Beekeeper. David in Winnipeg, however, did and said it's amazing with Jason Statham. So I may end up going to it today. It's on my list. But no, I didn't. Probably should have, but we were out of town, went up to Jupiter this weekend and watched some television. Who is it? It says the Delano. I apologize. There's a lot of comments coming in today. Oh, Reg in Winnipeg says the Delano Hotel is on the Strip, South End. I have my hotel booked. Some loser, let's call him a loser, wrote into our website and said, made fun of me for getting a $22 a night hotel. I'm not going to say which one it is, but I know what the hotel. I don't want people to know. I realized you don't need to be putting that information out there. But the guy thought that I couldn't afford anything else. That's not the point. Darren's rolled with me for a long time. I take pride in finding deals like this. It's not like I can't afford it. Darren, I want to brag that I'm paying $22 a night. You get it. You never once thought that I'm going to Vegas on the cheap or couldn't afford to stay in a nice... It's a nice place charging $22 a night.
Rod, you dropped $500 US to go to a party that you couldn't drink and smoke at. I don't know that money's the issue. It's just about how you choose to spend it.
No. Yeah. I'm very selective, how about that, on how I spend it.
Yes.
Chad in Lethbridge writes, and he says, tickets I hear are now over 10,000. If you get freebies, Roddy, are you flying Moose or Serena down? No, they're on their own. She doesn't even want to go. And this is the thing that I've been going to Las Vegas. I think the first time was about 2009, maybe a little before that I went. That's a long time. That's 15 years I've been going. What they're saying is they've never seen anything like this, the Vegas workers. I'm like, that's saying a lot. They just had Formula One through there, right? Yeah. In the fall or summer. Like, they've had the biggest of the big. They're saying they've never seen anything like this. So we'll see how that goes over. Bill in Regina, the guy that gave me this Ron and Don bobblehead, and by the way, happy 90th today to Don Cherry. Bill says, good morning, crew. The weekend NHL All-Stars were great TV to watch with an afternoon beer. Thank you. I need to just pop out of the comments for a second here and spend some time between you and I. Just one more. Al Broderick. I'm not sure where he is, but he writes it and he says, all those Super Bowl parties are full of dudes. Then you're going to the wrong ones. What did I tell you, Darren? I think when I either saw you that night or the next morning, I'm like, I just got my eyes opened to what the NFL is. Yes, please. When I was at that party. And I said it was old NFL. There was a lot of prosthetics. There was a lot of canes. These are old football people, but they're old, rich football people. And what happens with old, rich people? Who hangs with them? Do the math. I wanted to say this about the Pro Bowl. You said you were doing your curling yesterday, so I don't know how much you watched, but I watched the flag, and I wanted to get this in because you and I and Serena broadcast the USA Football National Flag Championships last year. I think people are just starting to realize how big of a deal that was, that we did that working for USA Football on the Olympic Network in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't know if you saw any of the NFL players playing it yesterday, but I was quite disappointed because they were putting about the same effort in as the NHL players in their 3-on-3 tournament. A little more than what was in the Pro Bowl back when they were in pads, but not much. I want to say about 65% effort the players were putting in yesterday, and I'm like, this is not a good representation of what flag football is going to be like at the Olympics. And if this is what Tyreek Hill is going to bring to the Olympics, or Jalen Hurts, or whoever says they want to play, no. Darren, I, and Serena called USA versus Mexico at the USA Center for Performance. Stands jammed. One half Mexico, one half USA. USA. I thought there was going to be a brawl. It was insane. Those guys were putting their life on the line to play flag football. Yesterday, NFL Pro Bowl, flag football. Half-hearted wave at a ball if you were a DB. Not putting everything into it on your route if you're a receiver. Guys not counting to 3 to rush the quarterback. I'm like, you guys aren't even paying attention to the rules. This is not a good representation of what USA football wants for flag football. That's my take of what went down. Did you see any of it?
Yeah, and that's not good. It's an opportunity to showcase what this sport can be. It's an opportunity to showcase for the players, too, that you want to be part of it. You want to play flag football at the highest level. But it's a hard sport to play. It's not like you're going to just go play flag football on the beach and win an Olympic gold medal. Those players are good, really good, and they play hard. And it's a very skill. You have to learn the game. It's a lot different than playing football in the pads. So there's a long way to go before we'll talk seriously about the NFL players playing in the Olympics.
Well, I'm not going to rule it out, but they didn't help themselves yesterday. And just so you all know, God willing, those USA football people are going to be on this show on Thursday at Radio Row. They're coming down. So that much I know. We've got to make sure that we can broadcast like that. And we will. We will. I think we all get worried when I am handling the technical requirements of the show. Darren is far better at it than me, but all those guys from USA Football are coming down, plus some members of the national team, to go on this show. I want to know what they think about the NFL players. They're just going to come in, saying they're going to come in and take their spot. Anyways, I'll see you in hour 2.
You bet.
SiriusXM NHL Radio. Scott Laughlin joins us next. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Now would be a good time to tell you our poll question today is for Key Auto Group. Key Auto Group is driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. I'm saying it now because we haven't said it yet. The poll question is, who will win the Four Nations Face-Off Hockey Tournament, which Commissioner Gary Bettman announced on Friday? USA, Canada, Finland, or Sweden? Last I saw, 60-ish% of you saying Canada and a little under 40% saying USA. Let's start there with Scott Laughlin. This morning, Scotty, listening to you and the Stellectricity. You guys were talking about this and your takeaways from All-Star Weekend. Let's start there. That was pretty exciting news with the Four Nations Hockey Tournament. I'll call it the World Cup, but there was a lot of things coming out of the weekend.
Yeah, there's no question, Rod, and I'm just thinking about the Four Nations next year. We were talking about this in the press box a little bit on the weekend. Who would be the favorite going into that tournament? I mean, normally you'd say Canada, and I wouldn't bet against us, and that's what we're going to say 9 times out of 10 and twice on Sundays. But you wonder, though, Canada in goal. The questions about goaltending. Who is going to be the goaltender for Team Canada? Is it going to be Jordan Binnington? Is it going to be Stuart Skinner? I mean, these are two names that would certainly leap off the page at you. If Marc-Andre Fleury was 5 or 6 years younger, he might still be more seriously in the mix. But you know the problem, the dilemma that Canada is going to have by way of comparison to these other 3 countries, namely Team USA. On the surface, Team USA appears to have much better goaltending than Team Canada, and us as Canadians, certainly that's something that we have to take note of.
Okay, buddy. Well, it'll be not a best-of-7 series. It'll be a tournament. We can outscore our problems with the likes of McDavid and McKinnon and the rest. And to be honest, my answer would have been Carter Hart, and we're not going down that road. But Arizona's Connor Ingram's also represented Canada at the World Juniors. So honestly, and I'm a goalie guy, but I'm with you. I do think that we will be fine. Besides that, again, I know what your takeaways were. I was listening this morning. But tell our audience how you felt about NHL All-Star Weekend.
Well, I think it was well received by Toronto. I mean, why wouldn't it be? You talk about Toronto. They are a Leafs city, no question about it. They are a National Hockey League city, too. It's a best of the best type city. I think it was well received. It was embraced. And we've been to all the different markets, including Florida, which did a bang-up job, of course, as you know, Rod, going back to last year. But the fans really seem to be into it. Every little thing they could get their hands on, from merchandising to where were the players at, the whole bit. We knew the stands were going to be full, regardless of what ticket prices were entailing and that sort of thing, too. So, look, I think it came away as expected. It was Toronto buying into the National Hockey League, and for each individual city that hosts in that particular market the All-Star Weekend. And this will be the first one for Toronto, in 24 years that we had endured. But this will be the last one for the National Hockey League, as we know, until at least 2027. So this was something to be cherished, and I think Toronto sports fans really did buy into it.
It looked that way, and take a bow, NHL. Nobody got hurt. The competition was great. And the main thing was smiles. Everywhere I looked, everybody was smiling, and I like that. Now, back to business tonight with 2 games. Patrick Roy brings his Islanders into Toronto, and Colorado was at the Rangers. People have drawn a lot of conclusions already. We're just past the halfway point, Scott. These trends aren't entirely going to continue. We may still have a bunch of coaches fired still the rest of the way. We've got a long ways to go before this thing is done.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There are some great storylines, I think, the unofficial second half of the season to look forward to, Rod. And whether it's, can Florida catch Boston in the Atlantic? Scott? Whether it's going to be a Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg battle for top spot in the Central Division, there are some great storylines to monitor. I guess when you're looking at it, too, when you talk about McKinnon and Kucherov and the battle for the Art Ross, there are some great individual stories, of course, to focus on here, the unofficial second half of the season, too. So I really do think that there are plenty of things to watch. We hope that that's going to be it as far as coaching changes go. We hope that Todd McLellan being shown the door is the last we hear of a change. It appears like the Los Angeles Kings are going to buy into Jim Hiller as being the short-term and perhaps even longer-term answer in Los Angeles. So hopefully that's it for the coaching carousel until at least the offseason. But there's plenty to play for here, as we know, in the next couple of months.
I heard you last week. You'd think I was your stalker, but you were talking about Todd McLellan, and you said, I'm not trying to get anybody fired here. Do you get a lot of heat when you're critical from the hockey people on what you say on the air?
No, I don't think so, Rod. I mean, I think with what we heard from Todd after they let that one get away against the Buffalo Sabres at Crypto.com not that long ago, I almost looked at Todd and listened to Todd that night. It sounded like he was making a call for help. Like, I've tried everything, guys. You don't think I've tried that? I've tried to push and prod this team. It just hasn't worked. And yet they kept them around for a couple more days after that. They go down to Nashville, play a very good game, and beat the Nashville Predators. So we thought that might be the saving grace. Ultimately, Rob Blake, who's a very, very loyal guy, decided, you know what? This is not working. This is not going to be a long-term solution for us. We need to change a voice, even if it is just Jim Hiller sliding down the bench and maybe having a louder voice at that. We've got to change things up. There were things that were said by Drew Doughty and Andrei Kopitar, the team captain, recently, where they intimated that the players might be a little bit on the selfish side of things, that they might be more interested in individual numbers than winning as a team. And I think maybe that put up the antennas a little bit further as far as Rob Blake and Luc Robitaille and company were concerned. They decided to make the change. So we'll see. I think that's a playoff team in Los Angeles still. I think they get back on track, but they have to get back to defense first. And that was what was working for them earlier on this season.
13 coaches let go, fired since the end of last season. What is the buzz as to why? Is it more volatile than ever, or does it just seem that way?
Well, it's crazy too, Rod. I mean, you and I can remember a time decades ago where, okay, if you go winless in 7 or 8, it's not the end of the world. It's an 82-game schedule. At one point, it was an 84-game schedule, that sort of thing. You would be a little bit more patient. But now the money is so big. The pressure to win is so great. You've got social media, which, of course, everybody's got to chime in and have an opinion after each and every win and loss along the way. So I think these days, coaches clearly have a lot shorter shelf life. We also note the fact is that the players make a lot more money now. It used to be back in the day, back in the 1980s, you're watching the National Hockey League. You know the guy who's going to be there over the long haul is the guy behind the bench. He's the guy that has the final say. Players didn't make as much back then. Now players greatly out-earn the head coaches. And because of that, the players have all the power. And if the players decide, you know what, this is not our cup of tea, this is not the guy we want to go through the wall for, they'll find the next guy down the block from just around the corner, of course, that can come in and give it a whirl from his perspective, too. So I think various reasons as to why it's changed. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Rod, I think it's the pressure to win is greater now than it ever has been. And that does not bode well for head coaches, as we see.
Great answer, and thank God we work in the safe broadcasting industry, right, Scott? We have hardly
stable
any
business.
more security.
Yes, the stable business that we work in, Rod. It's great.
And a fraction of the pay of these guys. All right, Scott, keep it up, man. I always enjoy chatting hockey with you. We'll visit soon.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, as always, Rod.
SiriusXM NHL Radio, Scott Laughlin joining us from Toronto. Sports update and viewer takeover after this. Voice of the Argos, Mike Hogan, coming up in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Release the hounds for almost an hour. It's going to be just you and me, and then you, me, and Moose. And later on in hour two, Mike Hogan will be with us. I need to not get upset. Just remind you, please don't send links and photos on the text line 902-518-3033. I appreciate that you, Rod, you just got to see this. Please don't send links and photos on the text line. Thank you. 902-518-3033. A sports update on this Monday. The Toronto Maple Leafs entertain the New York Islanders in one of two contests in the NHL tonight. The Leafs have won 3 in a row, while the Isles have dropped 3 in a row. Elsewhere, the Metropolitan Division leading New York Rangers host the Central Division leaders, the Colorado Avalanche, at MSG. The Avs roll through here on Saturday night, sunrise, and I won't be able to go to the game. Dagnabbit. We'll be at Super Bowl, though, so can't win them all. On that text line, Grant McKay writes in from Edmonton regarding Austin Matthews winning MVP of the All-Star game on Saturday and says, it's the only thing Mr. Matthews will ever win. With the laughing, crying emoji. I just want to point out there is a lot of Leaf hate. Not from me. The struggling Toronto Raptors Southern road trip continues against the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. Toronto has lost its last 3, including Sunday night's double overtime decision in Oklahoma City, 135-127. 76ers center Joel Embiid will undergo surgery later this week to fix an injury to his lateral meniscus in his left knee. Sixers have not said how much time Embiid is expected to miss. Here's one for you. The organizers of a soccer match featuring Inter Miami and a local team in Hong Kong are dealing with backlash from both angry fans and the government after widespread disappointment that Lionel Messi didn't play in the game. Sunday's much-hyped exhibition match ended with fans booing and demanding refunds as Messi stayed on the bench the entire game due to a hamstring strain. Organizers say they were only told at halftime that Messi would not be playing and that they would withdraw an application for funding from the city government for staging the match. How about that? I was reading a story this weekend at Yahoo, because I got to go through Yahoo, the main page, to get my mail. So whatever their news they're writing about pops up in my face multiple times a day. And one is explaining how ticket prices have gotten out of control in sports. And then it went on to talk about how the organizer, or the teams and the leagues have organized, or what should I say, created a supply and demand problem and jacked up the prices. I'm like, just say the owners are greedy. Just say it. That's all you got to say. In one sentence, that's all you got to say. Just watch this show. You'll learn everything. You don't need to explain some economic class as to why tickets are outrageously priced. And poor Messi feels like he's got to show up and play. Oh, man, it's out of control. And yet, people are paying the money. So the organizers say they'll get over it. Sports Update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Killers of the Flower Moon. Listen to this, based on a true story, and told through the improbable romance of Ernest Burkhart, played by Leonardo Caprio, and Molly Kyle, played by Lily Gladstone. Killers of the Flower Moon is an epic Western crime saga where real love crosses paths with unspeakable betrayal. Also starring Robert De Niro. Now playing at your local Landmark Cinemas. And for Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Well, the first hour really flew by, didn't it? And I feel like we did cover a lot of ground. Coming up in hour 2, a lot more of your participation if you promise not to send links and photos on the text line at 902-518-3033. And Hall of Fame. He's in my Hall of Fame for talk show hosts. Mike Hogan of the Argos will be with us in hour 2 as well. We'll be back after this brief pause on Game Plus and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
So what was it like coaching the Panthers in the 90s at the old Miami Arena? And he said it was in a bad end of town, and the police told him, when you come to a red light around the arena, don't stop. Keep rolling through because they'll come and steal your car. And he was driving an 86 Toyota Corolla. So he said he came up to a red light, and he didn't stop. He rolled through the red intersection, and some local yelled at him, "Don't worry, we wouldn't steal that piece of garbage."
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Again, that was Doug McLean, the former Panthers and Blue Jackets coach. That was his story. Welcome to Hour 2, everybody, of the RP Show on a Monday. Did you say, Clark, that we got Moose again? I wasn't paying attention. I was daydreaming. Okay. I'm here in South Florida for a couple days and then headed to Super Bowl 58. Moose joins us. What are you laughing at, Moose? What's so funny?
There was a couple. I'm a little worried about you because it looks cold, and you mentioned that early in the show. So I'm a little worried. You look a little bundled up. I don't know what the weather in Vegas is these days, but hopefully it's okay. Ooh. And the second,
good question.
I just got to say it. I just chuckled when you said you got the patience of Job, and you were thinking about those lineups in Vegas. That just hit me, and I don't know. I've been laughing about that one for 20 minutes.
Come on. Okay. Yeah, I just snorted. I'm in a great mood because I'm going to Las Vegas, Nevada in a couple of days. Oh, my God, it's +9 and rain. Heavy rain. It doesn't snow in Vegas. Apparently it does. Okay. I will always go by the Canadian metric scale for the rest of my life. I've vowed to do that. Oh, boy. Here's the forecast. Not that this is the Weather Channel, but for Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, today, 70% chance of rain, 10 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, 70% chance of rain, 12 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, cloudy and 12. Thursday, cloudy and 10. Friday, partly cloudy and 11. Saturday, sunny and 11. Sunday, sunny and 13. Now, you don't go to Vegas this time of year to get a tan. You go to get away and have a fun weekend. You know what I mean? See some shows.
I know what you mean.
So, yeah, it is cold here from what we're used to. But here in South Florida, the locals are very upset. Unseasonable. It's 17 degrees Celsius right now and a drizzle. And as I was getting ready, yeah, I know. And as I was ready to come out here for the show, I got long sweats on and socks. And Serena's like, what's wrong? I said, it's cold out there. It's dipped to 17 Celsius. And for the week, 19, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25. And by Sunday, a very livable 27 degrees Celsius and sunny. And that's when I'll be flying home from Las Vegas on a red eye. I don't know how this happened. If this just came up today, folks tell me. David in Winnipeg writes it and says, reports coming in, Lanny McDonald suffered a cardiac event. And because we have a ton of Calgary viewers, people saying, strength to Lanny, obviously. Wayne in BC, take care and rest up, Lanny. Says, I know what you've been going through. Grateful those two nurses who were catching flights jumped in to help Lanny at YYC. So it was on a flight or at the airport. The reason I bring that all up is because we love Lanny. I love him. I've been doing a lot of events with him the last couple of years, and he is not only as good a guy as you think, he's better of a guy. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in and he says, the fine people of Orlando were complaining about the cold, strapped up with toques and winter coats. He says, well, I was in my shorts and T-shirt. Oh, you were down there for Pro Bowl weekend? That's cool, Nelson. I want to re-up what we talked about here just so everybody knows. Darren recapped the provincial men's tankard. Mike McEwen will represent Saskatchewan at the Brier. That's coming up in my sports update. Some of the provinces have been decided for the Montana's Brier. Alberta and Manitoba's playdowns begin tomorrow. That's exciting. We talked about the NFL Pro Bowl games in Orlando. They played flag football, and I said I was very upset with the half-hearted effort put out by some of the NFL players. Not all of them. Some went full bore. Some went almost zero, like Nikita Kucherov in the NHL skills competition the other night. And I just said, because Darren and I, without a word of a lie, called flag football at the highest of levels. World competition last summer on the Olympic Network. What you saw in the Camping World Stadium in Orlando is not an accurate representation of what that sport's supposed to be. We talked about the NHL skills competition and Connor McDavid winning that. Austin Matthews being the MVP of the All-Star game on Saturday. And we're all starting to work our way ahead. Now, I just want to say this. I got my guy. Darren, you won't remember this name because it's taken me a week to remember it. Frank Delana. That's his name. Frank Delana. He and I are sharing a booth on Radio Row. This is the kind of guy that he is. He hosts a podcast out of Fresno, California. It's like Peel of the Onion or something like that. I believe he played college football. He's down there right now at our space. He's texting me. He's like, how much space do you need? Is that a big space? Because it's tight. I'm like, we're good. We're basically like a radio show that you stick a camera on. Would agree or disagree, Darren?
Yeah, that's a pretty good representation.
Yeah. I mean, it's as big or as small as you want it to be. Like in Super Bowl 2 years ago in L.A., Darren had it set up like it was Johnny Carson, and that's also fine. We can do that too. But if we have to be compact, we can do that. Right? So here's my one thing. I want to ask you this. You said you're not coming to Super Bowl this year because you've got other things on the go, and that's cool. And people are asking, what am I going to do, to fill the days because we're only on the air for 2 hours. I'm going to meet up with Jim Barker's daughter, Holly, at a casino on Wednesday afternoon. She's a pit boss there. She's got a list of things for me to do, people to see, all that. I said to Serena the other day as I was shopping with her, told you we were shopping when you called. I said, this is the first time I've ever gone to Vegas and haven't felt the need to go to the outlet malls. because you can't swing a sock without hitting an outlet mall here. I got everything I need here. Right? So that's one thing I won't be doing, although I do have a friend at the South Outlet Mall, David Mancuso, who's a massage therapist. I'll probably go see him and have him give me a crack just for old time's sake. But the point I'm getting to is I land the plane. This Frank Delana sounds like he's just going to hang around Radio Row all day. And I told him because of him checking out our spot, I'll buy him lunch. You know how I roll. He's like, that's not necessary. I'll probably take him for lunch anyways, because I don't want to be around Radio Row all day. It's a trade show. When people say Super Bowl's a trade show, that's a big part of it. Would you like the opportunity to hang around all day at Radio Row? Because that is just not really my thing.
No, I mean, it's cool to take a lap and see who's there and, shake hands and say hello and, meet some friends, new friends, connect with old friends, that type of thing. But all day, no, that's a little much. I like to bounce around. I want to see different things. I want to keep moving. I don't want to just sit there and hang out all day.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you say that because I'm not going to do that. Now, my dad would like to do that. Stanley Cup winning scout with the Dallas Stars. That's kind of his thing. Hang out and see and be seen. I'm just sprinkling in comments from our audience as we roll. Zach Nelson in Calgary writes in and he says, I thought Rod was in Vegas this week. Guy, it's Monday. Chill out. Jesus. I can't say that there's nothing going on. There's stuff going on. And I guess next year, when I guess it's in New Orleans, we'll go for the week. NFL Network isn't even there yet, bruh. So just chill. They're not. Okay? But this reminds me of the Centennial Cup. As I said again, I just want to do events. And this show, but at this point in my life. USA Football National Championships, Super Bowl now hosting the Sober Bowl, and the Centennial Cup. We did our show there. I hosted the banquet, and it was fun. You might have been sitting in the lobby of the Days Inn. Shout out Jeff Pearson, who watches this show every day. That's different. I'll sit there all day, because you know who comes and sits down? Dan McCord, head of officiating for the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Bill Chow, president of the SJHL. Brent Lads, president of the entire CJHL. That's a little different. Hanging out in the lobby, having a coffee, and seeing who comes in and out. That's kind of my thing. But hanging out on Radio Row to see and be seen, that's different. You've been to both. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. Completely different. The hotel lobby, that's a cool place to hang out. Different story. But there's so much more to do in Vegas and at the Super Bowl than just to sit on Radio Row. Go for your 2 hours or 3 and do the show and, an hour before and a couple minutes after. And then it's the fan experience. There's events. There's places to go, things to do.
I love that. Yes. Tank Abbott, watching in the Energy City, says small footprint to produce large footprint when it comes to content. RP show is big time with where it is supposed to be. That's the way Darren designed this, and it's kind of noticed. I noticed this the other day. We were the first digital sports show that digital live only. We were the first, right? Or at least the only one that's still going. We were Facebook Live starting this thing June 2nd, 2019. And now 1,173 episodes. It's cool to me that we are still considered, along with Jordan and Clark and the whole crew, Ryan Baracco, sorry. You'll get a kick out of that one. I was trying to think, I'm going to call him the Ryan Baracco, our technical producer. We were the first, and known in the Canadian sports industry as the first. That's pretty damn cool. But Darren wanted to be able to take it on the road, make it big, make it small, do all these things. Here we are still trucking. I'm pretty proud of that. Alan Hordell in Saskatoon writes in and he says, thanks, Darren, for the amazing coverage on the Tankard. First class broadcast. Did you?
Thank you, Alan.
It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. I'm just throwing that out. 1:11 Eastern. How did you feel?
Beautiful. Hell yes.
What'd you do, 3 draws a day? That's a lot of broadcasting, Grasshopper. Your voice is actually better now than it was an hour ago. It sounded like you smoked 3 packs a day every day for the last week.
Well, I've loosened it up this morning, warmed it up, but you're right. It's 9 hours on air a day. I think we did the math. We did about 40 hours on the air calling curling. Now, it's not as intensive each game as, say, calling a hockey game or a football game, where you're talking just constantly at a higher pace, but it's still pretty taxing, and a rest is needed. But I appreciate the nice comments. Kerry Tarasoff and his group that we're producing, they're just a wonderful first-class group to work with. Curl Sask, again, first class, treated us well, the teams. And the product we put out was I'm really proud of the product we put out. So it was a neat experience.
Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in and he says, with where traditional radio and TV is headed, you all hit the curve at the right time. Teams and leagues are just getting to a point of recognizing digital content creators. Well, they are in Canada, but in the States, they have been for quite some time. You see, they're just arriving at that. Here, they've been there for a while. Monty, regular viewer, Monty wants to know our take on the Super Bowl, and I meant to look this up earlier and get what Bet Regal's odds are for the game. And while we do that, do you want to take a... I'm still picking the Chiefs to win. I'll say straight up, but in my weekend column, I said by 3. Are we going to see San Francisco favored from like last Monday all the way right up to the game? I'm surprised by that. It's the Niners by 2 as we sit here at our official betting partner, Bet Regal, today.
Yeah, Niners by 2. That's a tough bet. I think, the numbers and the info might tell you at 2 points to take San Francisco. If it swells to 3, 3.5 or 4, which I don't think it'll swell that much, then I would go KC. But what we've learned is you just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You don't. You take you can take all the number crunching, throw it out the window. You just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's not smart. So if you're betting on the game, I'm probably going to put money on the Chiefs.
I am shocked that as we open this brand new week, the 49ers are favored. But again, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth either. Those odds makers are generally right. I'm excited to get down to Vegas and maybe see some of them and say, what's got into you? By the way, Chad in Lethbridge writing in, and Chad, I'm not begging for permission anymore. I guess I'll beg for forgiveness. I will be in Lethbridge. It was confirmed by Joe, my business manager, today at an event this summer. I won't say which NHL star. Chad, I'll leave that up to you. But I'll be there. And Chad is watching in Lethbridge. He's texted my personal cellular phone. And he says, Lanny had a cardiac event getting home to Calgary from All-Star weekend. 2 nurses passing by to catch their own flight jumped into action. Lanny says, quote, I owe them my life. I feel like we're not ready yet to be at a point to live in a world without Lanny McDonald. So thank God for those flight attendants. I don't think I could handle not having Lanny in this world. Stephen from, it's Buffalo Bill writes in. You remember Buffalo Bill? You're very attractive. He almost got us kicked out of a casino in Calgary this summer. He says, greetings. Will Brock Purdy get a marriage proposal like other Super Bowl quarterbacks in the past? How do they get accredited? I'll explain that one in a second when we come back. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, Moose. A lot of audience participation. That's what makes this show different, and it's also what makes it number 1 and explains why we've been around for so long. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. And what the heck is wrong with me? I have not even mentioned Telemiracle yet. And what's exciting about that is, maybe I didn't need to because I looked at the jackpot. We better update that, guys. I see it's far higher than that as of the weekend. The Telemiracle 50-50 is live now. It's another way to support Telemiracle and also have the chance to win half the jackpot. It's truly a win-win for Saskatchewan residents. Get your tickets now at telemiracle5050.com. And I appreciate all those who, at my urging, went and tried to buy tickets that were outside the province on the weekend and could not. They were geo-blocked, but you can still donate through the RP Show's donation page, and you'll be finding details on that in the days ahead. Please bring the moose back in. And I'm reading, okay, hang on. You can bring the moose back in, but here it is. John Ohm. Do we have the moose? Are we here? Are we live? What's up? John Ohm says the RP Show is the best darn show, period. What's up, crew? Well, John, come on in. Make yourself at home. You've missed a lot. We're talking Super Bowl. We lost Darren. They're having issues. That's okay. I can handle it. Okay. He was fine, but he's having issues. That's okay. I can handle it. But I hope he's listening to this I'm going to read this for the benefit of our audience member, Buffalo Bill, who talked about opening night of the Super Bowl tonight. And then the rest of you will find this, I think, quite entertaining. What's a testament to this show's longevity is I think I know what you like to hear. Placeline Las Vegas. Super Bowl opening night evolved into a wacky, circus-like spectacle long before Las Vegas had a chance to host the NFL's biggest game. There's no telling how wild it'll be for Sin City's media extravaganza tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers are in town, and they officially kick off the festivities Monday night at Allegiant Stadium when they meet with thousands of media members from across the globe. The event is open to fans who purchase tickets, and it'll be the first and only public appearance this week for every player and coach from the two teams. They'll field questions ranging from serious to silly. They'll be asked to discuss personal topics and to participate in goofy skits. Now, that is from the Associated Press. They're just putting all into a couple of paragraphs what's going to go down tonight at Allegiant Stadium. And so for all the people that are writing in here, and thank you, Zach in Calgary, for saying you can't wait for me to return to Canada. I'm looking forward to it as well, but once it warms up a little bit. But I didn't realize that Super Bowl week, I never paid that close of attention until now, was as long of an event as it is. 21 Grey Cups I covered, and if you showed up on Wednesday at the Grey Cup, the Canadian Football League Championship, you're largely there alone, talking into an echo chamber. Thursday's pushing it, Friday's when you want to be there. Super Bowl week, that's what we pulled off a couple years ago in L.A., but we were doing it from a hotel at the Westin at the airport. It worked out fine, but everybody said, you got to get downtown to Radio Row. We went down and checked it out and said, that's where we'll be from now on. And that's where we are. For all those that just tuned in, John Taffer, Bar Rescue, holding a news conference this afternoon. Why? I don't know. I guess because he can. Terry Fader, the world-famous ventriloquist, holding a news conference this afternoon. Why? I don't know. The same reason. Carrot Top's hosting his on Tuesday. Wayne Newton is hosting his media availability on Thursday, and I believe that is on Radio Row. So you can see why the NFL wanted to put its championship game in Vegas. It's not like they needed it. As the story just said, it's been wild for a very long time. But this is just added to the debauchery. Not even the debauchery, although there'll probably be a lot of that. It is Las Vegas. I'll guarantee you, though, I won't see it. What is going on with Moose? We had him. All of a sudden, he had a bad internet connection, the guys tell me. Well, I can tell you, coming up later on this hour, Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos. But if you didn't know, some 25 years ago, Hoagie was the #1 talk radio host in Toronto. And yes, I've heard of Bob McCowan, and I will still tell you that Mike Hogan was the #1 radio host in Toronto, talk radio host, sports talk radio host. And so I'm not just going to talk to him about the Argos. I want to talk to him about NHL All-Star Weekend. I'm doubtful that he necessarily took that in because he's now the voice of the Argos, but he's still a hockey fan. He's Canadian, for the love of Pete. I will invite comments from the text line, 902-518-3033. Brought to you by Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. Brian in the Moose capital writes in and he says, great job by Moose and the crew for a great job. I watched every draw of the Tankard. The best team won without a doubt. The broadcast is so much better than what any other province does. Well, how about that?
How about that?
Moose isn't even here to hear it. He's not even here to hear it. Bob, watching in Saskatoon, says the Tankard was awesome. Fun that Mitch won the 50-50 and bought for the bar.
Bob's your uncle.
I'm sorry. Mitch who? To be honest, I'm still trying to get my head around Lanny McDonald having a cardiac event on his way back from the All-Star festivities in Toronto. Hey, the man needs to slow down. For those that don't know, we're talking about Lanny McDonald. I know you all know Lanny, but we are on the radio in Atlanta, of course. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and says, Grey Cup gets kicking Thursday night usually. Trust me, I know. But that's kind of what I thought was going to happen here with Super Bowl, and booked my travel as such and realized, no. We're going Monday night, and you're invited. It's the opposite of J.R. Foley in Stampede Wrestling, who used to say, we're having a party, Mr. Whalen, and you're not invited. Okay, I don't know. Did Darren, what happened? Did a bomb drop on this jail cell where he's broadcasting from? Should I expect that we're going to have him or not? Okay, he was on limited. Have they heard of Wi-Fi? Or Wi-Fi is not working? So Wi-Fi is garbage. So Darren will not be with us for the rest of the program. As long as I know, then I can roll. We're really seeing the demographic of our audience. Grant in Edmonton writing in, he's watching on Game Plus television, writes in at 902-518-3033, and he says, did you guys get to Apollo? I didn't even know what the hell he meant. I thought he meant the movie. No, he's talking about Apollo Creed. He says, rest in peace, definitely a part of sporting culture. Legend. Well, thank God I'm old enough to know you're talking about Carl Weathers. Played Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies, passed away on the weekend. And as a guy that worked in the Canadian Football League since 1991, I was very familiar. I don't know, Clark, since we're sitting here, I don't know if you have a spare hand. Do you want to call up a picture of Carl Weathers? Would you mind? Google it and throw it up on the screen. Murphy. So now they're telling me Darren's here. I thought we were moving on without him. See, that was the plan.
Sup?
Okay, what's happening?
We got it locked in.
But now you're great. You moved?
Yeah, I just moved locations. We had a little, I don't know what was going on with the internet and wherever we were located, but we're closer to the source, I think. So we're good now. And hopefully Clark can find that photo.
I don't want it now. That's the thing. I've said this before. Could you imagine watching Pardon the Interruption or Around the Horn or anyway? We have a co-host. No, we don't. No, we do. No, we don't. No, we do. David in Winnipeg writes in, this has kind of blown my mind. But I've done it to you.
Of course.
The way that it is. I've done it to you.
We got the host. We don't got the host. That's just our show.
Yeah. If I say the name Carl Weathers to you, does that mean anything?
Of course. Chubbs.
Okay.
That's where my mind goes.
Okay.
And Apollo Creed, of course.
Well, Allie in Texas, there's more people into this than I thought. Allie in Texarkana writes in, she says she's a huge Rocky/Sly Stallone fan. Wouldn't have had Rocky without Carl Weathers. Jeff in Yorkton says, cool information about Carl Weathers. Wish he could have stuck around for some more Star Wars filmmaking. I didn't realize that Carl Weathers was this popular, to be honest with you. That this many people would know. I gotta get out of this. Other than to say David in Winnipeg says the kids at your house are on Netflix and tying up the bandwidth. Is that a possibility?
That's absolutely a possibility. Speaking of Netflix and Carl Weathers, I don't remember Action Jackson. And I think that's the one. I only know him from Rocky and from Happy Gilmore. Those are the only two that I know him from.
Rocky, Happy Gilmore, Action Jackson. The guy that I remember the most Yeah, well, that's what we said. He played in the CFL in the 70s. That's what we were talking about earlier when you were trying to get Darren on the air.
How about that?
I'm familiar with the Carl Weathers story from the Canadian Football League. And while today isn't the day, there would be a good day somewhere down the line to talk about all those CFL connections. Pam Anderson was discovered at a BC Lions game. I'm sure you knew that. And there's a ton of wonderful stories like that. Carl Weathers played with the BC Lions. There are more. That producer that produced many major market shows that said this show has ADD, what would he say if he was watching this? Because for our viewers are writing in, and now they want to talk about the Super Bowl. And for obvious reasons, because it's Super Bowl week and we're going to be talking about that. But you can say what you want about Taylor Swift, whether you like her music or you don't, or what's going on, and why she's dating Travis Kelce and vice versa. She busts her ass. She's at the Grammys last night, winning, I think, her 24th Grammy, announcing a new album. Later this week, she's going to be performing a concert in Japan. And then she's going to be at Super Bowl. And then fighting off all the environmentalists that have a problem with the carbon imprint she's leaving behind on her jet. You got to admire her hustle, Darren. You have to.
Oh, you have to. You have to. And to believe that winning Album of the Year in the Grammys, she's the only artist to ever win Album of the Year 4 times. Like that's mind-blowing and almost puts her in a class of her own. Whether you like her music or not, you have to respect her and respect the grind, because you're right. Dropped a new album too. She's trying to, date a professional athlete and be at all the games while managing her own career. And you're going to Japan, coming back. It's I think we would all die if we tried to keep up that schedule.
Just like I said about Bieber. I saw the guy play the saxophone, piano, guitar, and drums. I admire the talent. Whether you like him or not, you can't deny the talent. Thanks for busting your butt to get on. Safe travel home.
Thank you.
What's for lunch? A hoagie. He joins us next, live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Well, isn't this something? Just before we bring on Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos, I didn't realize the Carl Weathers topic would be as big as it is. David in Winnipeg writes in, he says, the CFL connection to Carl Weathers was the only thing I didn't know. I'm 36, so that's probably why. Let's bring in Hoagie. I guess Mike Hogan, 36, is young. Yeah. How are things, man? You survived NHL All-Star weekend, obviously.
Yeah, I hid out here in the sticks in suburban Toronto and Whitby, so I was safe.
Okay, good to hear.
Hey, was coat though.
Hey, you've known me a long time. I'd have worn that sucker back in the day. It was nice to see him out, and he's always been a great sportsman, hasn't he? And supporter of Toronto and Canadian sports, the Beebs.
Yeah, it really is, and he's got the fan base. I know his wife Haley was pictured in an Argo sweater a year ago, and you wouldn't believe the impact that had on our social media account. So yeah, he's a big name, and you get these stars, and I know you were talking about Taylor Swift beforehand. Where did I see a study that she's added like $33 billion or something, $331 million, whatever it was, in advertising to the NFL. So it's huge. You can't beat stuff like that.
331, good memory, Hoagie. That's it. 331 million US, let's not forget. Yeah. And it's to the Chiefs and the NFL. Was the 2012 Grey Cup the greatest day of your life? Be honest.
It was one of them because I actually got to call that game, which was nice. It's the only, I've been a part of several broadcasts as of you, but I mean, it's the only one where I got to do the play-by-play. To be honest, because I worked for the organization in 2022, that one meant a lot more than me sort of being at arm's length and working for, who was I with at the time? With TSN Radio at the time. You were at arm's length, but being in there every day, and that was my 4th year with the organization, and having been there through a couple of 4 and 14 seasons, and then, having it culminate with a spectacular, dramatic win in the Grey Cup. The best way I heard it described was the 4th quarter of that game was drunk, and it basically was. So that was a hell of a day. So professionally, that would go right up there.
Sure, but a cold one. But isn't it nice to be able to compare championships? What comes to mind for me is 2017, the Snow Globe in Ottawa, Argo Stampeders, Shania Twain with Sled Dogs.
Doesn't get much more Canadian than that. And, the whole story of Liram Hajrullahu, who we actually brought back today as kicker, as we're going full circle here, he kicks the field goal with I think 50 seconds left to win the game. Nobody talks about that because there were so many other big plays in that game. The Matt Black clincher, the interception in the end zone, 100-yard pass from Ricky Ray to Tavares Daniels, Devere Posey. Cassius Vaughn, 109-yard return touchdown on a fumble return late in the game when Calgary was going in to clinch the game. There was so many big plays. Shania Twain is probably the first thing people think of in that game. But that was a ridiculous game.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and says, it certainly wasn't the greatest day of my life. Chris Berman would call him Devere, pocket full of Posey. What's on your mind this week, Hoagie, as we got Super Bowl coming up? You're making signings. You're saying goodbye to Boris Beatty. It may be February, but football very close, close at hand.
Yeah, it's busy. I think everybody thinks that when there's nothing going on in the CFL in terms of on-field action that, we just sit around and play pinochle all day. But not quite the case. Trying to get ready for the season, trying to move some seats, some season tickets, trying, from a football operations perspective to get the roster set. Free agency is obviously a very big day. It's been interesting to watch this team since Pinball Clemens took over in October of 2019, go from a team that was exceptionally busy on free agency day trying to add players to now where it's trying to keep players. It's been it gives you an indication of what, over the last 4 years, Pinball, Vince Magri, John Murphy, Jim Barker, Alex Russell have done to move the needle to put us in a position from a team that was looking around trying to say, how do we get better, to a team that's saying, okay, hands off to everybody else in the league. But, players who play well on a team that went 16-2 are going to want to get paid, deservedly so, because there's a lot of talent on that team last year. So it's just it's a necessary evil, and now we're on the other side of it.
In a way, Hoagie, a cautionary tale. I think we could spend a lot of time talking about this because you guys work so hard, set a record, earliest clinching of first place, and I think you'd admit now, peaking too soon is a thing. What would Dinner do different? Your head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie, after clinching. I'm not sure you could have done anything different, and then you stub your toe in the East Final and don't get to the Grey Cup.
If we had have gone through and played every player, every play, every snap down the stretch, somebody probably would have gotten hurt. Just the odds of that happening. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And if Flo or Imolade, for example, had have gotten hurt last year on the stretch to the playoffs and to the postseason, people would have said, Dinwiddie should have sat him down. So you really don't have a win in that situation. The other thing that hurt, we didn't have a bye after Labor Day last year. The CFL gifted us with 3 byes in the first half of the season. So guys needed some rest. And with the size of the CFL roster and with the salary cap, you can't rest everybody at the same time. So I think in a lot of cases, he was treating guys as one-game injuries to get them out and give them some rest and get some other guys some reps. But yeah, when you clinch September the 15th, it's with a couple of months left in the season, it's not an easy proposition for players nor coaches.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what they learn, right? I have a lot of love and affection for Ryan Dinwiddie, and we'll see what they learned coming back here in 2024. From our guy, Nelson.
I do hope that we have
VP
I hope we're in that situation again, though, Rod. I hope we go 16-2 again.
Well, right, and from the audience, Nelson says the Argos had the largest growth in attendance and TV viewership. From one marketing guy to another, stick tap to you, Hoagie, and your staff. That's from Nelson, our VP of Sim Events. Sega writes in and says, any news with tamper period going on? We're in the legal tampering period. Does that have to do with Pickett going to Ottawa? I don't really understand it. So what can you tell our audience about what's going on right now in the CFL?
Okay, in the 1 week lead up to free agency, which begins a week from tomorrow, there's a 7-day window beginning yesterday where players and agents can talk to other teams. So if, Rod, you're a free agent and you're playing with Saskatchewan and the Argos have some interest, we call you, we call your agent. Pinball can talk to you and your agent and say, would you like to come to Toronto? If you're a general manager, you can come and talk to the Argo players. You have that to kind of set terms. You can agree to terms. Nothing can be put in writing until 2 hours before free agency opens at noon on Tuesday. So you have that 2-hour window to accept any offer. And if the offer isn't accepted, the player says, you know what, I'm going to give this second thought. I'm going to go and I'm going to listen to other offers. They can become a free agent. So nothing's binding until the player accepts it between 10 and 12 leading up to free agency. But this week, any team can talk to any player and they're represented.
So the report is Pickett's going to Ottawa. Is that part of this? He's accepted their tender, if you will, or what? What's the deal there?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't maybe speak on that.
I don't know what it is. Let's use that as an example. If that is, and I saw the reporters involved. I think it was Farhan and Dan Ralph, so I trust them. He can agree to terms, but he can't, physically sign the contract until 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I believe that's the way it works.
Okay, here we go. You asked us not to get into this, and now we're getting into this. I blame the viewers. They asked, not me, Hoagie. Lastly, how will the Argos overcome the loss of Corey Mace, your defensive coordinator, to the Saskatchewan Roughriders as head coach?
Stay tuned. We have an announcement coming up soon in terms of that. Coaching staff is in place. So just, patience. I think it's just the ink has to dry on the contract or the I's have to be dotted. So we'll be good. We'll be fine. But Corey's a great coach. We knew when he came in that we were only going to rent him, that he was going to be a head coach very, very soon. He's got great football acumen. He's a spectacular guy. He's got intangibles, coming out the ears. He's just that guy. And when he signed, I said, I hope you go 16-2 this year. Everybody's pulling for him because he's that guy. Just wish him nothing but success unless he's playing us.
Sounds good, Hoagie. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the analysis, and keep in touch, my man.
Anytime. Thank you, sir.
Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos. Overtime is next. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Can you believe we're already in the last segment? Unbelievable. I'm excited. Going for lunch with my guy Chris Sanford right after this. PDQ Chicken. I'm buying Chris, and I won't hear of any otherwise. By the way, Overtime's brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where I talked to Randy on the weekend. And they're working on their own version of All-Star skills competitions for your teams. I'm sitting there watching the All-Star skills competition in the NHL this weekend going, hey, they got all this stuff at Overtime Hockey Lanes. I've been there. Texted Randy about it. He's like, we're on it. So go check out Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, 28th Street Northeast. I'm telling you, it's the hockey capital of the West. Calgary. And if you haven't checked out Overtime Hockey Lanes yet, shame on you. Hoagie's written in and he wants to clarify, and this has shown me how far I've changed from my old job, okay? From our last interview there, the voice of the Argos writes in to Clark, which I'm communicating to you, to clarify, the 2-hour window leading up to noon, February 13th, is for the player's current team to see all pending offers. The player can't sign with a new team until noon. He says, my bad, I didn't want to go back and waste airtime. I don't care about that. I used to. I don't anymore. And I understand that's, that's deep into general manager speak and with the players, and I appreciate him saying that. I'm just like, spin the wheel, where they land, cool, let me know. This stuff between now and then, I'm out. Because there are a lot of other things going on, like, where's my dang bell? I'm going to leave it there. The NHL returns to business tonight with 2 games on the schedule, including the Toronto Maple Leafs and the visiting New York Islanders. The Leafs have won 3 in a row, while the Isles have dropped 3 straight. Elsewhere, the Rangers host the Colorado Avalanche, who have won 3 straight and lead the Central Division. Again, I'm crestfallen that I'll miss the Avalanche coming through here on Saturday night. I'd really like to see Cale Makar. However, we'll be at Super Bowl in Las Vegas, so I can't complain too much. Speaking of the National Football League, I can do this. NFL news and the sports update. Dan Quinn's work as Washington Commanders coach is already well underway. He and new general manager Adam Peters have hired Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator and Joe Witt Jr. as defensive coordinator. The team announced the moves today after reaching agreements with the coaches over the weekend. There's plenty more to do quickly to fill out the coaching staff. Then the fun part begins with tons of cap space to spend in free agency, the second pick in the draft, and, of course, the pursuit of a new quarterback. And the buzz here, I don't know what you're reading or hearing, but that they will be putting a package together to try and get the #1 overall pick off the Chicago Bears if the Bears decide we're good with Justin Fields and don't go after Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback. So that's the talk here. The sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And here's another new one for you for Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Argyle. Get this. An introverted spy novelist is drawn into the activities of a sinister underground syndicate starring Samuel L. Jackson, Bryan Cranston, and John Cena. In Landmark Cinemas now, Argyle. That should be very easy for Regina people to remember. Right, Clark? Argyle.
I like it.
It's interesting. Zach Nelson. Yeah. I'm aware, John. The garbage truck is here. It's not gunshots. It's garbage. It's the garbage truck right behind. It's garbage day. I hear gunshots. That doesn't happen here in Boca. Not this area of Boca. Not to sound Rudy Poo, but it's true. Where is that comment from Zach Nelson? There's a lot of comments have come in here. Can't find it. He said something about me coming back to Calgary. I'd like to. Oh, he says you're missed in Calgary, Rod. I really enjoyed rolling to the Flames games, the Hitmen, the Wranglers, doing all that, going to all these movies. Sharita doesn't really care for movies. It's not her thing. So I usually save my movie going for when I'm in Canada. And I've been here since August 26th. Maybe we'll be back in the Great White North next month. We'll see. Ron, speaking of Calgary, writes in. You have a lot of Calgary viewers. He says, how about how young the Flames are getting? True Flames fans are excited about our future. Boy, is that a can of worms that I'm glad we don't have time to delve into now. What exactly is the definition of a true fan? I think we all have our own. Ron, you would probably say it's a fan that doesn't give up on his team or her team no matter what. Is there for them through thick and thin. That might be what the problem is with some perennially losing teams, taking advantage of people like that. But that's just me, and I'm sure your definition's wrong or different. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?